Our message affirmation this morning is, I use my words. Because we know that so much of what we say and do in life begins with our communication. And it's so important that we use our words. And indeed, the words we speak, as well as those we don't, have a significant impact on our lives. One poorly spoken word at a time can demean and demoralize a person or a loved one. And at the same time, one unspoken word at a time can serve to demean and demoralize as well. So these are important things to think about. And as we go into fall, the fewer hours we have of daylight, and there's more night coming, and the morning comes later, the evening comes sooner. Bit by bit, with this change of light, our own circadian rhythm is changing. And that's just a naturally occurring thing. Your circadian rhythm is that thing which balances you so that you don't have yourself getting up at 2:30 in the morning to eat, or 2:30 in the afternoon, it's time to go to bed. And of course, if you've ever flown anywhere far away and they've had a completely different time zone, you'll know that you'll feel that. They talk about jet lag. For those of you, if you can relate to this, if possible you've ever been ill for a while, maybe you've had the cold, or you've been in bed for a few days sleeping on and off, and you haven't really kept up with what time of day it is, and your whole rhythm can be thrown off. But when we get back to seeing this light and getting into this natural rhythm, which is one of the universal laws that God just instills in us, and you don't have to do anything about it. It's just there. It's just there. We all have this natural circadian law going through us. And the same is of love and our words. We know that our Creator loves you so deeply and so greatly that indeed there is nothing but love in the creation of each and every one of us. And so we also know from reading in the scriptures that we are created in the likeness of our Maker. We are created in love, and we are created to give love. We are created to be expressions of love in every way. And we know that as humans, we get into this human existence, and we can fall into our ruts of going to work and raising kids and taking care of people in our lives and taking care of our homes, our cars, our belongings. All of these things can pile up, and they can sometimes get in the way and separate us from the fact that we are meant to be loving beings, that we are meant to express love every way and every day. And so indeed, for the vast majority of us, and people communicate in different ways. We know not everybody has the ability of speech, but most people communicate in one way or another. And so when we refer to words, we're referring to that communication. And it is so important that when we are speaking these words, that we need to know words of love, acceptance, affection, and we need these to have a full and happy and healthy life. Not only do we need these coming to us, but we need to give them. We need to give them, and we need to receive them to have a truly happy, healthy life. And then to go one step further, as I mentioned, we're made in the likeness of our Creator. We also need to share these words of love and acceptance and affection with our Creator to fully enjoy and appreciate the divine presence in our life. So often, we can get to a place where we have faith, but we may forget to express this divine love back that we know that we're getting every day, every moment. And we talk so much about the Christ is in us as the Christ is existing. We have this divine presence in us, and we know that there is this divine presence all around us. And so we need to be mindful that just as we know as human beings to live a happy, healthy life, we need to have words of happiness and words of love and care and affection, no matter what circumstance or situation you're in. Years ago, when my aunt lived over here in a retirement home and I would go and visit her, and there were some people who maybe wouldn't have visitors, and you could see these people become withdrawn and distant. We need to have love. We need to have words of love, and we need to have affection, and we need to have acceptance, and we need to be giving that too. We need to be giving that. We need this to be a circular thing, to be happening all of the time in our lives. And it is our divine nature. And like I say, we are human beings, and a lot of times our human nature can separate us from our spiritual nature, which is what we truly are. We are in this body for a short period of time, but the spirit goes on and on. And so this is a great time because we're going to go through these experiences, and to experience them the best way we possibly can is to know and connect with those around us in our life, as well as with the divine. And remember to express your appreciation, your love, your acceptance, and your forgiveness in every circumstance, in every situation. So our goal for the week and for all time, use your words and be mindful of your unspoken words with the Creator's universal laws in mind. And we know there are all these universal laws. And there are these universal laws that we see if we drop a rock, it's going to fall to the ground. That we can see and we can know. And these other universal laws we talk about, like what we refer to when we do our responsive reading, we are reliving and we are reminding ourselves of all these universal positive laws out there that are out there for us to be using and realizing every single day of our life. So just as we know about these universal laws, we know that these universal laws apply to the way that we use our words. So we want to use our words wisely. And the good news is, we are all loved so deeply and greatly by our Creator. And these are qualities which are as embedded in us as naturally as all of the universal laws our Creator put into place. We can communicate this positive, loving radiance by being aware of the words we use or the words we don't use. This universal law is in place to allow our lives to be happy, healthy, and prosperous. We must only obey them. Like any laws, like if we get in our car and drive down the street, we know there's laws we have to adhere to. We want to apply to these laws too, and we need to not let ourselves get caught up in doubt, negativity, fear, anger, upset. And one of the biggest that I probably talk about, maybe sometimes too much, but hopefully it gets messy, is forgiving. Forgiving is such a big, big thing. And don't focus on the little things. The other day, a friend of mine was badgering another friend of ours because his socks weren't matching. And I had blurted out his socks. I'm lucky if I get out of the house with the same shoes on each feet. So, let's not worry about the small stuff. Think about this big stuff. And love is the biggest of all things. And we know that we so often close our prayers in the name of faith, hope, and love. And of course, we read in the scriptures that love is, of course, the most important of all, because it is what makes the world go round. And it is what is embedded in our DNA. As surely as all of the chromosomes of your ancestors, love is in your DNA because you were created of love from your divine Creator. All right, I'd like to invite you to join me in prayer. Eternal and loving God, we thank you so much for the love that we know that you show us every single day. We thank you for your forgiving nature when we don't always see the love, when we fall into the place of fear, lack, doubt, when we fall into places of anger or lack of forgiveness. And we thank you for showing us the path and knowing that in all of these circumstances and situations, there is nothing but divine love coming from you, our divine Creator. We thank you for showing us the way that indeed by being the embodiment of love ourselves, our lives as we live them here in this earthly place are going to be filled with happiness, with health, and with great prosperity and great loving, wonderful relationships. We thank you for all these beautiful, bountiful gifts in the name of faith, hope, and love. Amen.